Good evening, good evening. Babe, will you close this door for me, please?
You have
What?
his password to the Gmail account to our school.
Yes. Yeah, close this door for me because I'm live. All right, everybody, give me 1 second here. Let me do my share outs. Y'all know how I do. Okay, so Jacqueline Kabah Harrison here. You have joined me for Evening Motivation with Jackie, which takes place every Tuesday and Thursday at 10-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I always say that because, hey, I'm a mother, I work full time, and sometimes in the evenings, things may kind of go awry, but I definitely make sure that I show up. May not be exactly at 10 p.m. Usually it's not, but you know that I'm going to be there, that I will be coming through, and that I will be sharing some knowledge and or updates, both, whatever the case is, right? Okay, so let me just kind of scoot up here if I can. I won't be able to just because I'm trying. Whew. All right, so how has everyone's week been? Hopefully you have had a good week, a safe week. Oh, I have a comment. Who commented? Oh, hey, how are you? Hey, how you doing there this evening? Now let me I always have to do this little disclaimer. My son is playing video games and he gets really, really excited. So if you all hear a bunch of screaming in the background, it's him. That's why you heard me earlier telling my husband to close his door. But even when his door is closed, it still sounds like he's almost like right in here with me. So, what you gonna do? So thank you so much for joining me. Hey, Pastor Russell, how are you? Thank you all so much for joining. I want to make a couple of announcements. Y'all know I always have to start out with my announcements. Announcement number 1 is I do a ongoing show. It's called A Queen's Roundtable Show, and that happens every second and fourth Sunday of the month. Every second and fourth Sunday of the month at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I stream live from my Realizing Your Potential 123. That's the full name of it, or full address to my business page. I stream live and I bring on a different entrepreneur, and we just basically talk openly and honestly about entrepreneurship. And this particular show is specifically for coaches and consultants to basically talk to you, inspire you, let you know that you are not the only one out there going through all these ups and downs and rounds and, successes 1 minute and what we, perceive as failures the next, that it's like a roller coaster. And we just talk openly about that. And we leave on a very positive note, right? We leave on a positive note, letting you know that there is hope. That there is hope and you will get through it. Just be consistent and don't give up, right? And we also talk about different tools and techniques. Each guest that comes on has a particular area of expertise, right? And the focus is always to leave you with tools and techniques that you can take and begin to utilize right away in order to upscale your business. Okay, that's the ultimate goal, is for you to be able to take away tools and techniques and network also. Sometimes I always forget to say that, but that's definitely very, very, very important to be able to network, And so if you can join us live, if you were unable to join live, I have the Eight Queens Roundtable Show is also a podcast. So all of the guests that I've interviewed are housed on my Anchor platform. So you can always go to Anchor. You can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and what's the other one? iHeartRadio, and type in Eight Queens Roundtable Show, and that will give you access to all of the videos or all of the interviews that I've done. Okay. Because sometimes, we get busy and we're not necessarily able to, catch everything live, so I totally understand that. Or even if you catch the replay off of my business page, that's fine too. Whatever is most convenient for you. We just want your energy and we want your questions, your comments, and we want to get the information out there. So I want to give that update and let you know that you can find me on Anchor and the other platforms that I listed. I want to thank everyone again for a successful Eight Queens Roundtable Quarterly Symposium, which was May the 16th through the 19th. I want to thank everyone that participated, as well as all of my speakers. It was awesome. You guys did an excellent job. And those participants, thank you so much for stopping by and referring your friends and so forth. It was so much fun. And, I got to get ready now for the next one. So be on the lookout for the advertisement for speakers for the next quarterly symposium, which will be in September. I don't have the exact date yet, but it'll be in September. Okay, it's also going to be a virtual event. And especially with the pandemic, I was going to try to do something face-to-face, but I'm going to keep it, online for now and plan and do it an in-person event next year. So at any rate, so look out for that. And the last announcement is I have just recently started a Facebook group. And this one is going to be specifically, again, for coaches and consultants. And we're going to be focusing on mindset, right? Everything that goes under that umbrella. And I will be bringing in different special guests that's going to talk to you about mindset topics, as well as some business strategy topics. Okay. But the main focus of the group, like I said, is geared towards coaches and consultants. And it's to help you get your mind right. Because the thing of it is, you could have all the business strategy in the world, but if you don't have the right attitude, if you don't have your business success mindset together, then you're still going to find yourself spinning your wheels and just not materializing the way that you want to, or not getting the results that you want to get. Okay, so I'm also going to I didn't do it yet, but I will put that link at the top of the video. Okay. All right. So those are my announcements. So for my topic for this evening, I kind of went back and forth because, it's just so many different current events going on. And I kind of felt like I wanted to talk a little bit about the pandemic. Then I felt like I want to talk a little bit about, what's going on today in terms of, all of the Black men, young and old, dying at the hands of the people that are supposed to be out there to protect and serve, So I still, I'm going to do a discussion on that, but I'm going to do that at a later time. So I'm still going to keep this segment here focused towards helping coaches and consultants level up. So now, as you can see, my title, actually, let's go back to it. So the title is Strengths and Weaknesses. Okay, that's the short version. The long version is not being aware of your strengths and weaknesses can actually cause you not to be as successful as you want to be in your business. Okay, let me say that again. We're talking about strengths and weaknesses. Now, you might say to yourself, well, how does that relate to, being a business owner, having my own business, being a coach or consultant? And the way that relates is because if you are not aware of what your strengths and weaknesses are, that can have a detrimental impact on your business, right? It can have a detrimental impact on your business. It could cause you not to move forward in a steady progression like you want to. It could cause you to lose sales. Basically cause you to not meet your monthly income goals, much less exceed your monthly income goals. Okay. So I think it's extremely important to actually have this conversation that we are getting ready to have about strengths and weaknesses. Actually, I want to make sure I keep these comments up. Also, ladies, tag another coach, tag a consultant, share the broadcast out. You know, sharing is caring. And we all lead busy lives, you know, so sometimes I know it's a later hour. People may not be, you know, up and, you know, ready to view something right now, but maybe, you know, tomorrow morning they might be ready for some knowledge or for some seeds. So, you know, go ahead. Please share the video out, tag another coach or consultant. Okay. All right, let me just put my little camera up here. You know, got the multitask, y'all. Got the multitask. Okay. So here's the thing with the strengths and the weaknesses. As a business owner, you have to know, and I know you've heard people talk about outsourcing. You know, you've heard people talking about when is the right time to get a virtual assistant or basically to get some help or to grow your team. Let's say that. That's a much better terminology. When is the right time to grow your team, right? So this falls in line with that. Now, a lot of times, of course, as a business owner, and I'm trying to keep track of these comments. Oh, hey, Miss Brandy, how are you? So I definitely want to make sure that I acknowledge you guys. Miss Keener, Miss Taylor, Pastor, thank you so much for being on. You know, I don't know if you stayed or if you just passing through, but thank you so much. I don't take anything for granted. Thank you so much for your support. So there comes a time where there are certain things, and this comes with knowing yourself, right? Knowing who you are, knowing what comes along with that is knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses. Now, why that's important and why I related that to the outsourcing piece is that, for example, for me, I'm not strong when it comes to the tech. And I know, you know, any of you that know me, you'll know that I'll be the first to raise my hand and say, you know, trying to figure out lead pages is not something that I enjoy doing at all. As a matter of fact, I absolutely, I know this may sound a little extreme, but it's almost like I despise it. I mean, I really, really don't like it. I mean, I will, you know, I'll put it off, you know, trust and believe the only reason that I may do it is because of the fact that I may not be able to pay somebody else right now to do it, you know. And a lot of us, when we start our business, we end up doing everything in the business because we don't have a team yet, right? Because we don't have a team yet. So the thing of it is, you'll end up doing a lot of different things in your business. You'll be, you know, actually putting together your program, actually delivering your services. You'll be the tech person. You'll be the person creating the content. You'll be the person, you know, I don't know, that maybe sends out all of your, what do you call those, questionnaires, let's just say, afterwards to get feedback. You know, you're going to be the point person for everything. You're going to be the person that's going to be booking your online speaking engagements. You're going to be the person that's going to be looking to see what different podcasts you can go on to, right? You know, how can you expand your platform? I mean, that's going to be you doing all the research to even figure out which platform works best for you. That's going to be you in the beginning because you don't have a team. Now, you don't have a choice with that. But as you begin to expand, right, which is everyone's goal, and it's going to happen, you know, eventually. Some of us get to it, you know, quicker than others. But when you begin to when you begin to expand, at that time, that's a good opportunity to really sit down and look at what you have on the table, all of your different responsibilities, right? And then at that point, you can look at it and say, well, I'm good at this, right? And I'm not so good at this. So if I'm not so good at this, then maybe that's something I might want to outsource, right? When you, because it's only 24 hours in the day, you can only do so much. And in order to be able to focus on the other things in your business that you have to do, right, that need to be done to keep a consistent flow of income, you're not going to be able to be everywhere at one time. You're just not going to be able to do that, you know. And you need to figure out what you can outsource or what you're going to delegate, what you're going to outsource and what you're going to delegate, right? And one way of doing that is knowing what your strengths and what your weaknesses are. Now, there are also other ways too to, you know, to delegate and to figure out what to delegate. And I'm going to touch on some of that, but my main focus for tonight is talking about strengths and weaknesses. So the whole tech piece. Now, I can do the tech, right? But here's the thing. I don't like doing it. I'm not that great at it. Like, for example, my young lady that does all of my, you know, techie stuff, all of my graphics and, you know, setting up, my person that sets up affiliates and stuff like that, I can do that, but it might take her an hour or maybe 2 hours, whereas it could be almost a 3 or 4 day project for me to do the same thing that I'm paying her to do, right? So it comes to a point where, again, if you don't have the resources, that's different. But if you do have the resources, why would you want to spend the time doing all of that tech stuff when you can pay someone to do that, right? Because you're not that great at it and you don't like doing it. All right. So in instances like that, it might seem like a no-brainer. I'm not good at the tech and yeah, I'm not good at it and I don't like it. So let me outsource it. Right. But sometimes, and this is when it gets a little tricky. Sometimes there are things that, because we are not fully aware, right, of who we are and, you know, our likes, our dislikes, our strengths and our weaknesses, if we're not really aware of that, sometimes we could still be holding on to different tasks that we're not good at. And let me mention one that sticks out at me is certain people are very organized. Certain people are very detailed, right? Now, the reason this sticks out to me is because I talk to, like I said, I interview a lot of different coaches and consultants. And a lot of people are big visionaries, right? But when it comes to the step-by-step, the how-to, they just kind of like, oh, I don't know, you know, or their skills kind of, you know, go get less and less, right? Not that they can't do it. They're just not very good at it. They don't excel at it, right? Or sometimes people they're big visionaries. They know what they want, right? But when it comes to being organized, they're just not very organized. Haven't you heard people say that all the time? You know, that, girl, you know, I need you to help me. I need you to help me get organized, you know, because some people are really good at those details. Some people are really good at organizing, getting a plan together, figuring out what needs to go first, what needs to go second, boom, 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 and knows how to figure out, you know, what resources they need to utilize in order to get those jobs done. And some people are just better at just the bigger picture. Like, well, this is where I want, this is the vision. In, I don't know, 5 years, this is where, you know, I see my business. Some people are better at that. Or some people are really good visionaries, excuse me, and they may even be good, you know, at the details, at the, you know, really getting everything out. Step 1, step 2, step 3. But maybe they're not very personable. Maybe they're just not very personable. Maybe they're naturally an introvert, right? So if you're an introvert, let's just say, and going to different networking events and talking to a lot of people. Now, don't get me wrong. I do believe in pushing through fears, right? I don't believe in like crippling ourselves. And I'm not saying that whatever that weakness is, don't work on it, don't try to develop it. I'm not saying that by any means. But what I am saying, I had to stop my other video. But what I am saying is that if you recognize that this is an area that you need, or that's a weakness for you, then what you can do while you're working on it, right? You can, let's just say, maybe your business partner can be the mouthpiece. If that's the person that's real bubbly, that's real upbeat, they have the type of voice that commands a room. Let's just say, maybe they're part of a sorority, or, they have some sort of a position in the church, like a position where people look to them for advice, or if they suggest something, people are going to like take note, right? Then that is that person's strength. So let that person take on a task like that, right? And again, you can work on those areas and build on that so you can get better and better and better. But at the same time, being aware of what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, you can better develop a plan, right? A plan that flows. Like for me, I'm really good at details. I am really good at details. Right? I'm really good at like getting that plan together. Somebody comes to me and like, okay, well, I want to do this, I want to do that, right? And they just run off with 1,000,001 things. And I'm pretty good with, okay, listen, let's get all of this laid out. Let's get it all laid out. What's most important to you? What do you want to achieve first? And let's start grouping some things together, right? Because a lot of times people brainstorm, they throw a whole bunch of stuff on the table. But in actuality, you can like segment it off. Like, okay, like push all of this over here in this corner. This is all related in this particular way. Push all of this over here. This is related in this particular way, right? So I'm really good with that. So that's one of my strengths, right? Whereas, like I said, you might have, let's say if I had a business partner, somebody else on my team, maybe they might be really good, like I said before, with meeting people. Maybe they have a lot of connections in the community, right? And if that's the case, then I can do the detailed piece and putting the plans together, and that person can be more of the mouthpiece, if you will, in terms of engaging people. Right? Like she can engage people, bring them over, or, get them to a meeting, or, whichever, come to a company meeting or a presentation or a conference. And then I can lay it out like, this is what's going to happen. Boom, boom, boom. This is what we do. And this is how we do it. And this is how we can help you. Right? So it's about that balance, because the bottom line is all of us are not going to be good at everything. That's just unrealistic. We're not going to be good at everything. And that's okay. That's normal. That's natural. That's how it is. We're not going to be good at everything. Now, we can become better, right? And yes, as a business owner, we need to have knowledge of all of the working pieces of our business, right? But you're going to do that anyway. Because in the beginning, you're not going to have no team. So you are the team, right? How it says no I in team. That's all that's in the team is the I, is the you. Right in the beginning. But once you begin to grow and expand and create your team, then it's time to really take a look at what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, right? What do you do well? What do you enjoy doing? What don't you enjoy doing, or what don't you do well, right? And delegate it accordingly. And the idea is that you will be able to spend more time on doing things that you want to do in your business. Like, if you're a coach, coaching, whether it be one-on-one, whether it be a group program, whether it's a mastermind, whether it's, public speaking, whatever the case is, right? You have to delegate in order to be able to do the things in your business that you love doing, to do what you're good at, to be able to influence people in the way that you want to influence people, right? because it's only a certain amount of time in each day, right? And if you started the business based on wanting to provide these types of services, you have to be able to still provide those services, right? And if you're expanding, even your team as well as your clientele, you're going to have to maneuver your way into a position where you can still provide those services and all of those other services that, like I said, you're not strong in that area. Delegate those services, right? And then of course, as you even further expand, you'll begin to train other people to also provide that core work, the actual coaching, the education, the teaching piece, right? So so that's what I wanted to mention, is because I know some of us excuse me, get into this pattern where we feel like we gotta do it all. We just feel like we gotta do it all. Oh, hey Jacqueline, how you doing? Girl, you so crazy. You know what? Let me just go back and I'm still kind of getting used to StreamYard and how they do the comments here. So I wanted to. Someone said your character turns you on or off. So this is very important, right? Yep, you're right. Because some people are just not going to take to you, and vice versa, right? I mean, it's been different people that I liked the words that was coming out of their mouth, but it was just something about the way they delivered the message or the way they spoke or just whatever that was a turn off for me, And you're right. That's just it's simple, just simple. That's what happens. And then you mentioned toward others, if you will, in business, you have to watch your content. Yep. And then Miss Brandy said hi. Oh yeah, and you said the chief everything officer. I know that's right. Look, you be doing everything. You be writing your content. Then you have to get your content scheduled to go out. Then you have to create your sales funnel. Then you got to be emailing your list. Then you got to do your graphics. Then you have to have someone figuring out how you're going to get more exposure, like getting you speaking engagements, getting you involved in virtual summits. We wear all of those hats in the beginning. Yes, we do. And we have to, but as time goes on and you begin to grow, know what your strengths are. Like I said, for me, I love organizing. I love putting together those actionable steps. I got my little to-do list. I write everything down. I get so excited, y'all. And my husband be like, oh, you actually writing that down? Yes, I am. Because I know me. And it's something about writing it down that also helps me to remember it, but that's my thing. I get that to-do list. I done figured this out and I done maneuvered that and I got it all worked out. I'm checking my list off as I go. So I'm really good with those details, playing it all out, walking it all through. That's a strength of mine. And being consistent. If I can't do nothing else, I could be consistent. Right? So those are two of my strengths. But like I said, the tech part, that's not a strength of mine. And writing content is not a strength of mine. Now, of course, with the content, that's a little tricky. That's not something I'm going to necessarily outsource. I mean, I know I could at some point, but at this juncture, I'm not talking about outsourcing that. But I'm just saying that's not my strong point. I'm much better with talking and expressing myself that way, orally versus written, So again, that's something else. But that goes into, leadership style and how you conduct your business. I mean, some people are better with blogs. Those that write may be better with a blog, right? Or maybe writing 2 or 3 different bestsellers or ebooks. Whereas what I feel most comfortable with and what comes easier for me is like the video. So the interviewing, the doing summits, things along those lines, that comes easier for me. And it flow, I feel like I can flow a little bit better with it, I get to talking and using my hands and, all that good stuff. But that's just, that feels good to me, or it feels right to me. So thank you, Miss Jacqueline, for joining. And Lakeisha, you said 25? What's the 25? And Brandy, I don't know if I put your comment on the screen or not. I can't remember now. What's the 25, Lakeisha? Yeah, that's really kind of perplexing me. But so that's why I wanted to talk about the strengths and the weaknesses. And I don't know if I've ever really talked about that before, but I think it's very important to know what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. Again, that way when you do start putting together a team, right? Once you start putting together a team, you'll be able to know what your team members need to be strong in, right? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Because if you're strong in this area, now of course, the more you expand, you're still gonna have you're gonna have to end up having other people that are also strong in that area, right? The same area. But initially when you're expanding, you're gonna be looking for people that are going to complement you, right? They're gonna complement you. So an area that they're stronger in, you're not as strong, and vice versa, right? So now I have a virtual assistant, so I don't have to sit up and me with my OCD self sitting up and making sure the stuff is lined up properly, and I got to inch it over this way a little bit, I got to inch it back over that way. Okay, so now she can do that. And all I have to do is just say, oh yeah, I like that, or no, do you think you can kind of change this a little bit, right? Beautifully. This last summit, I used affiliates. I said to myself, do I want to take a week to get this set up, or do I just want to pay somebody to set up these affiliates? I think the latter of the two. I think I'll pay someone to set up these affiliates. Right? So again, we know, you should know. And the thing of it is, with the business being a new business owner, sometimes you may not know until you get into it. Then you find out, I really don't like that, or I'm not that good with that. Like I'm not real good with the whole email marketing piece. And I think the major thing is because I don't necessarily care to write. I don't really care to write, so, but that's an area that I know that I'm not as strong in, that I didn't know before. Now I know. So I just have to come up with different ways of how to still get my information out there. And, I still got to write, whether I send video or maybe send a video, but I have to come up with something until I expand my team even further. So, but that's my topic for tonight. Strengths and weaknesses, know what they are, right? And when you begin to expand your team, look to complement. Look for members on your team that are going to complement you, right? As well as what do you want to have more, or be able to have more time to do? Of course, you're not going to outsource something that, a specific service that you provide, obviously. But the other things such as, circulating content, maybe emailing your list, doing your graphics, setting up your funnels, doing your landing pages, paying your bills, your PayPal, your Acuity, or setting up your calendar. I know a lot of people, have other people to set up their calendar. So things like that, right? So take all of that into consideration when you begin to expand your team. All right, so that is my message for this evening. Again, tag another coach or consultant, share this video out. This is Evening Motivation with Jackie, which happens every Tuesday and Thursday at 10-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A Queen's Roundtable show which happens every second and fourth Sunday of the month at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We stream live. If you are interested in being a guest, you can go to my Facebook business page or either my personal profile and get the link to apply. It says to be a guest is what the link, the bit.ly link says. And you can apply to be a guest on the show. Okay. And the other announcement was the Facebook group. Okay. I just recently started a new Facebook group. I just wanted to see if I could. Yeah. I just recently started a new Facebook group, and we're going to be focusing on mindset mastery. Okay. Because again, you can have all of the excellent, most knowledgeable business coaches in the world and have all of this strategy under your belt, so to speak. But if you don't have the right mindset, you are not going to be able to execute it in a way that is going to be beneficial for your business, right? Or for you to be able to actually see the results that you want to get out of your business if you don't get your mind right. Okay, so we're going to be focusing, the group is specifically for coaches and consultants to help you be able to identify as well as create effective strategies in which to use to prevent all of that negative self-talk and those self-sabotaging behaviors, all of those, all of that self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, the fear of failure, what are some of the other ones? The whole being a perfectionist, procrastination, right? All of those things that get in the way of, basically allow us to get in our own way, right? Which prevents us from putting the strategies in place and showing up consistently enough to be able to not only meet, but to exceed our monthly income goals. So look for that link. Okay. So like I said, definitely, check it out and see what you think. And we shall go from there. All right, everybody, have a wonderful evening. Everybody, please stay safe. And I will talk to you ladies again soon. And again, thank you for those that joined. Thank you so much. And I will talk with everyone again soon. All right. Good night, ladies.